Good morning. Um, I'm a little tired. I've been up all night with my son. My son came home from school Friday with a temperature so high, out of this world. Excuse me, he was coughing. And I think he may have caught something from someone um, the week prior because we went to the pediatrician's office. And when we're sitting in the pediatrician's office, it was just a bunch of sick kids in there, babies, all types of stuff. It was really, I was just like, oh my god, like this was terrible day to come in here. But I wore a mask there. I didn't feel like he would need one until I got in there and I seen how many kids was in there sick. Um, I believed that I had been coughing because of my pulmonary disease, right? So I'm always wearing a mask because I can't breathe in any cold air. Breathing in cold air, it just does it for me. Um, but yeah, he's been sick for since then. I think like we went not this Friday that passed, but the Friday before that is when we went to the pediatrician, and then he started showing like coughing a little bit by the time Wednesday came, and then Friday he came home from school. That was it. Like he was done after that. So um, for the past 2 days, I kind of just been dealing with him. That's why I didn't live stream yesterday. Um, I wanted to talk more about. He's here, by the way. He's in the bed. So you might hear him coughing. He got a little cough. It's not as bad as it was. It was terrible before. Um, but I want to talk more about, of course, manifestation. Manifesting. That's what my channels and my content is about now. Um, I think it's been hard. I'm not going to say hard, but it's like going from teaching solely about relationships and talking about a lot of the stuff inside of the Black community to now, doing manifestation content. I don't, it's not hard, it's just different, so it's a different version of me. Um, and I think this year was a real turning point for me because I changed a lot, like significantly. Um, I a lot of the things that I used to do, I started doing again. Like I had to like relearn myself because I feel like within the past decade, I kind of lost myself because I had isolated myself in California. I wasn't really dating or talking to anybody or hanging out. I really just isolated myself. And I this year was getting sick earlier this year because my nervous system was basically out of whack like crazy. Like it was telling me like something is going on with you, and if you don't pull it together, like psychologically, emotionally, and stress wise, I'm going to start messing with your body in other ways. Right? I'm going to start showing you all kinds of illnesses, all kinds of whatever. And that's what my body was like doing. I didn't know that's what it was doing until I start like trying to look into a lot of the symptoms that I was having and trying like different foods and different exercises and different meditations and things like that to try to figure out what could I do to change my situation. Now I was already stressed because, living in a hotel in California, an expensive one at that, in an expensive area that I used to could afford. And I'm just now finding out my son has autism and he's just starting school, and no one knows what to do with them. So I was like really, really stressed out. And the doctors was giving me a hard time with them. They didn't want to give me referrals to neurologists and things like that for us to be able to completely diagnose my son with autism. The school was doing like individualized education plans to figure out whether or not he was autistic. And of course, we ended up finding that out. And by the time that we got to the neurologist, she could already tell with him walking, through the door. She already knew. And then as I kept seeing her, she started to notice it in me, right? One of the last conversations I had with her before I left California was about us doing genetic testing to see exactly where he had got it in autism from. And that's when she was telling me that she felt it was a possibility that he may have gotten it from me, because while she was monitoring and evaluating him, she noticed some things in me, right? So, according to his neurologist, she believes that he may have got autism from me. And when I look at my life, it made me reevaluate my life and my childhood and things that I experienced. And I started looking back and realizing that that shit makes sense. Like, I was like really nerdy. I was a straight A student. I was hyper fixated on learning and certain things that just proved that I had autism. Baby. I mean, I guess I can. Let me see. Hold on. My son want me to turn the light off, so I'm doing a live stream in the dark. Um, when someone is neurodivergent, it simply means that their brain processes the world differently from what society labels as typical. So there's like different wiring, the same intelligence, but often a little bit more depth. So it's not a brain with the factory default settings that the average person would have. It's not a flaw. It's like a variation. So I'm left-handed, right? A lot of people aren't left-handed. Okay, so it's like that. It isn't me being left-handed makes me a bad person, or one of those people who is, I don't know, anything negative that you could think, because most people are right-handed. But some brains like sprint, some spiral, some zoom in so deep they see atoms where others see furniture. You know what I mean? So neurodivergent includes like autism, ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, Tourette's, and like a few other things. I don't have like dyslexia or dyspraxia or Tourette's or anything like that. I just have autism. I'm ASD1. So the common thread in all of those neurodivergent, different forms of neurodivergence, the common thread is the brain. It's not broken, it's just built different. And people who are like, we're talking about people who are like extremely successful, maybe they're savants, maybe they're geniuses or prodigies, or maybe they're like Elon Musk or Kanye West, or something like that. Most people who are extremely successful and are extremely intelligent have a level of autism disorder. It's just that I don't consider it a disorder. I don't know why they call it disorder, because it doesn't feel like a disorder. It just feels different. Like, I have a better understanding of certain things that the average person wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, neurologically, my brain is built in a different way where I can pick up like on pattern recognition and a lot of other things that um, may other people may find phenomenal. But I was like hiding a lot of myself. And so when I started realizing that I was hiding a lot of myself, I started trying to get to know myself all over again. Like, who was I when I was a little girl, and who was I? Who have I been all of this time as I'm like growing up? I had to like really just get to know myself all over again. So I'm ASD1, which is autism spectrum disorder level 1. My son is autism spectrum disorder level 3. So that means with him level 3, he needs high support. Me, I'm level 1, that means I need low support. I have high internal processing. Level 1 means a person can usually speak, reason, learn, and live independently, or like semi independently, but the effort it takes to function in a neurotypical world is often exhausting. And so a lot of the experiences, or things that people do that is you classify as normal, is exhausting to me. Like, I don't like a lot of noise. I don't like a lot of crowds. I get overwhelmed, extremely overwhelmed. It's a lot of other things that come with me having autism that I'm not even prepared to talk about. Um, it's just with me, it's it's less obvious to other people. With my son, you could look at my son and tell, oh, there's something going on. So with me, it's like I got like this deep focus or intense interest, high intelligence. Of course, like I said before, I have like strong pattern recognition, sensory sensitivity to like noise and light and textures and crowds. Um, I learned to mask all of that stuff. So social interaction has always been like scripted or like draining or confusing to me. Um, One thing that a lot of people who have ASD1, we have a strong sense of like justice and honesty. And when I learned that about myself, right, it made sense because I was looking back at how I always took so much pride in trying to be as honest as I could and trying to seek justice for other people and other things. And even just looking at my content, I mean, all of my blogs and videos and stuff, I used to like my handle on all of my social media platforms used to be the real Sansaray. And I used to always try to be as honest and as transparent as I could be. And I didn't even think that me having a strong sense of justice and honesty is part of me being autistic. I named my son Justice. You understand what I'm saying? Like that right there is just, I don't know, just to think about it, it made me rethink my whole life, and especially with my emotional debt. Like I have emotional debt that runs like the fucking ocean. You understand? I burn out from masking sometimes, which is basically pretending to be typical all day. So I've been masking my whole life, and I didn't it didn't occur to me because I had been doing it so long. So when I was talking to my son's neurologist about this, and I started looking at my life, which was earlier this year, I started realizing that I had been hiding who I was all of this time. I was basically like being a version of myself that was me, but it wasn't the comfortable part of me. It was the part of me that was like should have been running in the background, because who I am naturally, I had been masking because it was too much for other people. But the reason why a lot of people are ASD1 and don't look like it, they seem fine, is because we are like putting on a performance, we're masking. And I didn't know that that's what I had been doing. I had just been so programmed to believe that that's what I was supposed to be doing, because after observing so many other people and how they responded to my symptoms of having autism, I just stopped even showing them. Um, what a lot of people don't understand is they think that ASD is like a personality flaw, or it's a lack of empathy, or immaturity, or something caused by bad parenting, or something that you outgrow and you never outgrow it. It's something that is built, it's part of your brain wiring. It's not something that someone can beat out of you or slap out of you, or whatever. You know what I mean? A lot of people think that children who have ASD are misbehaving when it's really they have a different process. They process things very, very differently. So a lot of people who do have ASD1 are too empathetic, and I think I have one of I have that. I feel everything. I mean everything, literally everything. Like to the, it's almost like everything is magnified. Every emotion, everything, any of the five senses that I got, I feel it 10 times more than the average person. Neurodivergent brains are often the architects, the artists, the analysts, the inventors, and truth tellers of society, basically. Even when I think about the job I had when I was in corporate America, I was a data analyst. You have to have you have to be good at pattern recognition and have an eye for detail to be able to do analysis, data analysis. So I would see things other people would skip. I would question things that other people would accept. And I noticed like the loose screws and like systems everyone else would call like normal. So if society were like a machine, right? Neurotypical minds would keep it running, but neurodivergent minds redesign it. So it's a different role. It has the same value, but it's often a higher cost of being this. And I, it doesn't make me sad. It used to make me sad when I first found out that my son had autism because he had seemed to be struggling with it. And I think I struggled with it when I was young, but because I was level one, it was easier for me to mask than it is easier for him to mask. So now that I am, of course, 45, I love being 45. 45 is dope. Um, Starting my life over at 45 is a whole nother, like, that is an interesting experience. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but I know for me, living in Atlanta now, I moved to Atlanta in August. I lived in California for 8 years. And when I moved here, I think I was expecting things to go completely different than what they did. Um, I'm disappointed to a certain degree, but at the same time, I'm kind of anxious to see what kind of life that I could build. And as I'm like learning old stuff about me and going back to doing things that I had stopped doing, like painting and ballet and excuse me, I had stopped swimming because of my lung disease. I stopped, like, I haven't had a fish. Like, I used to have an aquarium. I haven't had an aquarium in 3 years. I can't believe as much as I love tropical fish, I haven't had a fish in 3 years. Um, things that I enjoy that just make me me, I had to like relearn and figure out, the version of me that was extremely successful at one point. Where is that person? Because the person I am right now, or was before I realized what the fuck was really going on with me, um, the person I'm becoming, like, I had to figure out what was the mindset that I had when I was successful and I was living a comfortable, like, happy life. And I was like, how was I able to manifest so many beautiful things in my life? And I thought about what my mindset was. My mindset, because I'm autistic, right? I have like this hyper focus. I was always hyper focused on being the best version of myself I could be. I always assumed I was going to be wealthy. I always assumed I was going to be successful. I never for 2 minutes thought that that was not going to happen. I had already made up in my mind that is who I was from the very beginning. And anyone who is successful or anyone who is wealthy would tell you that they always thought that. It wasn't that they waited until they were successful and wealthy to be it. So when I was bringing all this financial stability and all of this success on social media, it was because I had already knew that that's what I was going to be. But then when I stopped focusing on myself and started focusing on other situations or other people, is when things started to fall off for me because I was no longer focused. I was no longer putting my awareness where it was supposed to be, or my hyper focus on where I'm supposed to be. So autism is actually helpful to manifestation, and I'm going to explain why. It doesn't block manifestation, okay, but misunderstanding an autistic nervous system does. Manifestation responds to regulation and clarity and identity. And most autistic people simply reach that state very differently. So it's not like it's a spiritual flaw, it's a neurological difference, not a consciousness deficit. So when you're manifesting something, it has a lot to do with your consciousness and your nervous system. Um, but the average manifestation advice fails a lot of autistic people because most of those teachings assume emotional flexibility and like social intuition and nervous system fluidity. And when you're autistic, you don't have a regular nervous system. You don't have those regular things the average neurotypical person will have. So, nervous system regulation matters more than positivity. And Oftentimes the regular neurotypical person could do a whole bunch of affirmations and just stay positive, and they'll be able to manifest something. Um, but in order for them to actually fully manifest it, they have to feel safety. That's the whole point of the nervous system. Your nervous system makes you feel safe. So earlier this year, when I said, I'm sorry, earlier in the live stream, when I said that earlier this year, my nervous system was attacking me, and I had to like find things to do in order to feel safe. I was posting videos of me dancing and painting and things like that. I was doing that because I was trying to regulate my nervous system. Because having affirmations and thinking positively wasn't helping me manifest the lifestyle that I wanted. I had to put it in action. So I was like, when I'm feeling some type of way, I'm just gonna get up and I'm gonna do a dance video. Or if I'm feeling some type of way, I'm just gonna paint. Right. So what I ended up having to do this year, which is the first year I ever did this, I had to stop masking who I was because I had felt so comfortable in this persona that was me, but it wasn't the main focus of who I truly was. Like I was hiding all of the things that I love, like me being an artist and stuff. I'm an artist more than I'm anything else. I'm a painter. I do graphic design work, AI work. All of UI UX design, software engineering, all of that stuff is me. But I was putting all of that stuff in the back burner and being someone else on social media because I was masking. And when you mask, you kind of block creation to a point to where you end up not being as successful as you could be if you would just focus on truly who you are and what you're really good at. So trying to manifest while suppressing your true self creates like this internal contradiction. So I was being myself, but not my true self, who I always was like the girl who played the piano and flute until like high school, the girl that was, singing and loving classical music and the ballet and the symphony and orchestra, the nerd, the computer geek. All of these things I was like hiding. Like when I was a little girl, I was into ballet so much. I loved like my favorite um singer when I was a kid was Liberace. And most people don't even know who Liberace is. He was just a pianist. I play the piano. I love the piano so much. I mean, it's just so many things about myself. I had forgotten who I truly was and started becoming like this version that I felt was more acceptable to other people. Because I have like this deep focus, this hyperfixation, I can accelerate a manifestation when I'm aligned. That's why I've said so many times in live streams when I'm talking about manifestation that I'm a master manifester. I can manifest things easy usually. But the problem with me right now, again, is my nervous system. Like my nervous system got destroyed when I was living in the car for a year, and me being in the hotel destroyed my nervous system. So I've been spending all year trying to improve my nervous system. And I had a setback when I moved to Atlanta because of losing my friend, losing this friendship that I had for 15 years because we stepped into like romance. And when you are a platonic friend to someone and you have this friendship that you adore and then you make it romantic and it doesn't work out, you can't go back to being friends the way you were. You have to create a whole new friendship. So when I first moved to Atlanta and things was going crazy between he and I, it seemingly destroyed the friendship. Like it's different. It's not the same. It's not the same. So losing that kind of, hurt me a lot. Um, because we have a different type of thing happening right now. Um, but now I'm back working on my nervous system again because it threw off my nervous system because being around him and talking to him and making plans with him improved my nervous system. So when I found out there was like some deception and there was some cruelty and there were some things going on, it threw everything off. Right. So now it's like I'm back at it again, trying to clean up my nervous system. And that's where all of the AI content is coming from, because creating content is what I enjoy. So I pulled myself back from social media. If you notice, you haven't seen me do any content of where you see me doing commentary videos and stuff, and I'm not posting like my personal stories and the things that I'm dealing with as much as I used to. Now it's just manifestation work and AI generated content because I am recreating my life all over again. And I shoot professionally and I take my professional photos and create more AI visuals. I show memories of things that I used to do or have done before, and I show things that I want to do. So if you see a clip of me or a picture of me, so it might be a memory, or it might be something I want to do in the future. Someone said to me that I was trying to use AI to make myself look younger. It has nothing to do with youth. Like, you might see a picture and I have programmed AI to show you who I was when I was 18. So when you look at a picture and you see I look like a kid, it's because I told AI to show you a memory of mine when I was 18. So you might see a picture of me and you're like, damn, she looks 20 in that bitch. And then you see another picture of me and I look 45. You understand what I'm saying? They're all different variations of my life. They're not all the same me at this current moment. And that's what I'm trying to explain to everybody when I'm talking about manifestation and self concept and embodiment and identity. You got to remember who you were first, or who you are first, before you can like get involved with another identity, or becoming something that you've never actually selected before. Because all of the versions of you that you could ever be, they already exist and they're already streaming all at one time. That's what I'm trying to prove to you. So when you look at my Instagram or you look at my Facebook, you look at all of my videos, you're seeing different timelines of my life and they're all there. You just get to select which one you want to look at. So if you go to my Instagram and you look at all of my reels, right? You can select any reel and it can show you any timeline of my life. It can show you me when I was 21. It can show you me when I was 30. It can show you me when I'm 55, because I'm showing you different sides of myself that are in the quantum field. And inside of the quantum field, and I tell y'all this all of the time, inside of the quantum field is every version of you could ever experience. It's unlimited. And you just get to select which version you want to be. And the only way that you can do that is if you embody the identity of whichever version that you want to be. And the way you do that is basically staying in tune with the frequency of that thing. So you use your mind, which is basically a muscle. You use your mind to rehearse that version over and over and over and over again. That's why my deep focus can accelerate manifestation so much, because I can easily focus on something and have hyperfixation on it. That's how people become successful. If you know, athletes, actors, doctors, everybody rehearses first. Whether they're putting on a show, whether they're doing surgery, whether they're whatever, you got to practice first. When someone's in the military, they do training and boot camp and things like that, right? So that's basically all I'm doing is, practicing who I want to be over and over and over again, practicing who I used to be over and over and over again, so that I can create the lifestyle I want and get out of the current 3D experience I'm having. Okay, so um, I have like emotional processing differences. Like, I have delayed emotional integration. It goes really slow, um, but I stabilize them in the long term. Of course, I have sensory sensitivity with my environment. Like, overstimulation disrupts me being able to embody a new identity and to have expectations. So a lot of times I'll waver. If you don't know what wavering is when you decide what identity you want to be, but then your ego, which is basically the part of your brain, a specific part of your brain that tries to convince you to go back to the old habit, will try to convince me to go back to the old habit. instead of the new habits associated with the new identity that I'm trying to embody. Okay. The good thing about me is that I have a lot of faith without fantasy. Like autistic people can reject vague belief systems, and structure is what we need is. So when I talk to you about the three different mental frameworks that help my life, and it's never just faith and spirituality, but it's metaphysics, quantum mechanics, and faith and spirituality. There's a reason why I have three mental frameworks, because I need those three mental frameworks in order to create the lifestyle that I want. Other people might only need one. Like most people be like, all I need is God. Okay, you need only one mental framework. You're a neurotypical person. You don't need three. I need three because I'm neurodivergent. So that's why it seems like, put it like this, I look at things from so many different perspectives. While you're looking at something, you might see it from one angle. I see it from three different ones. And that's the only way I can understand it. I can't understand it just by looking at it from one way. I have to look at it from the bottom, the top, the left, the right, upside down. I got to turn it around a couple of times because that's what feels okay to me. It won't feel okay to me and it won't work to me. I won't process it until I see it from every angle. So I look at every aspect of life, every experience, every event from several different angles at once. It's not that I look at one and then I wait, and then I look at another and then I wait, and I look at the next one. No, I see it all at one time. And other people don't. Their brain doesn't work like that. Mine works like that. Repeated misunderstanding can distort identity and block receiving. So a lot of times, autistic people may have a difficult time with self-concept, but I don't have that issue. I just have a wavering issue. I think manifestation works best when customized. So there's no universal method. With what I tell people, when you're trying to manifest, we're not even trying. You're always manifesting all day, every day. It's just you, when you decide to manifest intentionally or consciously, you have to customize your experience in a way to where you use techniques and methods that actually work for you. Like a manifestation coach can give you plenty of tools and suggestions on what kind of methods you can do that can help you manifest the reality that you want, right? But it's up to you, because only you know specifically what you can handle, what your nervous system is, what all of your beliefs are, everything that you're dealing with. You just have to try different methods until you find one that actually works for you and manifests the reality that you desire. I can sit here and tell you it's as simple to me, because what I try to do is simplify it. I don't try. People be like, do robotic affirmations, do scripting, do visualization, do such and such and such and such. But for me, it's usually I just tell myself, listen, okay, since I'm the manifester, I got control over this. This is my situation. I project what I see. My perception is reality. So I don't have to do all of these extra tools and shit to be able to manifest what I want. I just manifest what I want. And it comes fast and easily because that's the kind of manifester I've chosen to be. So manifestation works best when it's customized. So you get to decide how you want things to go and what you want it to be and what you want it to do. Okay, so for the record, this channel exists to talk about conscious creation with truth, structure, and respect for real human experience. This conversation that I'm having is not about limitation. It's about mechanics. And autism doesn't prevent manifestation, but misunderstanding autism absolutely can for someone who has autism. So manifestation is not about being loud or social or emotionally expressive or endlessly positive. Manifestation responds to your alignment, and alignment begins in your nervous system. Autistic nervous systems process the world very differently, and that difference changes how safety, focus, belief, and expectation are formed. So many manifestation teachings fail like autistic people, like I said, because they assume flexibility where rigidity exists for regulation. So telling someone to just let go, or just feel joy, or just ignore discomfort is not helpful if their nervous system is overwhelmed. So if you're trying to manifest anything in your life, whether you're neurodivergent or not, your safety comes first, not the visualization. So if you're sitting here visualizing who you want to be and you notice that it's not coming, you got to ask yourself, do you truly feel safe around you currently? And do you truly feel safe with that visualization? Okay. Now, like I said, a lot of autistic people often mask to survive. I did it for years, and masking basically means performing a version of yourself that feels acceptable to other people. You cannot manifest while pretending to be someone else. Creation responds to authenticity, not a performance. So even if you aren't an autistic person and you catch yourself masking and pretending to be something that you're not, you have to understand you're never going to be who you want to be pretending to be someone else. Embodiment and pretending are two different things. Okay. Hold on. I'm emailing somebody. Um, okay. Um, what was I saying? Oh, the difference between what was I fucking talking about? What was I saying? Um, oh, there's a difference between pretending and embodiment. Okay, there's a crucial distinction between that. And once you see it, a lot of manifestation confusion is up like collapsing for you. So pretending is performance without some type of internal agreement. Embodiment is internal agreement expressed naturally. So pretending is you pretending you have something, but you're trying to manifest it from a place of lack. Embodiment happens from you being aligned with something. So pretending looks like you basically saying affirmations while doubting them at the same time, or acting confident but you feel anxious underneath, or posting like luxury stuff but you feel like you don't deserve it. You know what I mean? Like if you're posting a whole bunch of luxury cars and shit like that, and you're looking at this luxury lifestyle, you're looking at other people having it but you feel like you don't deserve it. Or maybe you're forcing positivity while suppressing some actual fear that you have. Your body is tense, your mind is like monitoring, your nervous system knows you're lying to yourself. Okay, so reality responds to coherence, not your costumes, not who you pretend to be. So embodiment looks like you're moving calmly. You don't need any proof of the experience. You're not looking for it to happen. It's just happening. You're in it. You're making decisions that match your values. You're no longer explaining yourself to people. You're naturally expecting like respect. You're feeling settled instead of excited. Your body is like regulated. Your identity is stable. Your behavior matches the belief that you have. So pretending you're asking for something, right? You're pretending you're asking God, please give me something, blah, blah, blah. You're asking God to give you something that you don't see yet. But embodiment assumes that what you want is normal for you and you already have it. So from a metaphysical lens, reality mirrors the identity, not a performance you're putting on. So if your inner state and your outer behavior disagrees, reality reflects the inner state every single time. So, from a quantum mechanics lens, incoherence creates unstable outcomes. Embodiment stabilizes probability because the observer is consistent. There is an observer underneath. Like when I sit here and I tell you guys, you are a soul having a life experience, basically, or I say you have a mind, body, and soul, you're actually observing yourself kind of like you're a character inside of a video game. That's what this is. You are behind your body. Like it's almost like, put it like this. You are the hand up a puppet. You are the hand up your ass as a puppet. Okay. Your physical body is separate from you to some degree. It's connected, but to some degree it's another part of you. And you're like, for example, when you get on social media and you log into your Facebook, your Instagram, or whatever, you're not your Instagram. But when people look at it, they see you, your pictures, your quotes, your whatever you're posting, your handle. To you, to the person who's on social media, that's you, right? But it's not really you, it's a representation of you. So your physical body is a representation of you. Let me explain how your brain works. If you notice, your brain is kind of separate from you, right? You have habitual thoughts, and those habitual thoughts you can actually change. And when you change those habitual thoughts, they become a belief. And then that belief becomes your perception. And then your perception is your reality. So when you have all of these habitual thoughts, if you don't think in your favor, you're going to have a negative experience because your brain is projecting your beliefs. So if you believe you're never wealthy, if you believe you're never going to get where you want to go, if you believe that you're never going to fall in love, if you believe that you're ugly, if you believe that you, whatever, right? That's going to be your life experience. Okay? You have to have the identity of a person who you believe will already have the things that you already want. All right? From a spirituality lens, God responds to sincerity, not theatrics. So faith is not loud, it's certain. You have to be certain. You have to know it's what you want and you have to have faith in it. So the simplest way to tell the difference in yourself, pretending feels exhausting, embodiment feels quiet. It feels like neutral. You know what I mean? Pretending needs consistent reinforcement, but embodiment holds without effort. So pretending fears being exposed, right? But embodiment has nothing to prove. You don't need to act like the version of you that already has what you want. You need to become safe in being that person. That's why your nervous system is so important because your nervous system is what helps you be safe. So when that happens, behavior changes on its own. Your reality follows because there's no other internal conflict happening. And that's not fake it until you make it. That is alignment until it manifests. And once you move into embodiment, manifestation stops feeling like magic. It starts feeling like it's inevitable. And that's the difference. A lot of people don't know the difference. That's why I'm going over it because it's not what you think at all when you hear somebody talk about manifestation. I think too many people have been looking at it from a surface level and not the level that they're supposed to. Okay. Um, I do feel like people, I don't know, are not as open minded. Neurotypical people aren't as open minded with manifestation or quantum mechanics or metaphysics in general, or even spirituality or religion, as someone who's neurodivergent, because for us, it's looking at it from different perspectives. You have to have a you have to look at it from a different perspective. Like we don't see the world the way that everybody else sees the world. We see it very, very differently. That's why a lot of times I'll look at something that the world finds fascinating and I will not be impressed by that shit because it just doesn't do it for me. I don't know why it's like that for people who are neurodivergent, but it's just we I don't know, we just have a different we don't look at the world the same way. We don't look at the world the same way. Um, when you have autism, like I said, you get a lot of gifts. You get like deep focus, pattern recognition, consistency. These are manifestation accelerators when you're aligned with like self trust instead of like self correction. And the goal really is not to manifest like everyone else. The goal is to manifest as yourself and getting people to understand manifesting as yourself instead of like everyone else is kind of a hard concept to teach to someone who is neurotypical. But at the same time, it's like all of it is fascinating to me. Like how other people manifest things is always interesting to me. But metaphysics basically teaches that reality reflects your self concept, right? So autistic individuals often internalize years of being misunderstood and corrected. And this can create like this subconscious identity of being wrong or delayed or difficult. And manifestation does not respond, like I said, to your desire. It responds to the identity that you have of the person who has the desire or has what they desire. So when the self concept shifts from something is wrong with me to my system is different but valid, their reality reorganizes. So one thing that a neurotypical person would experience and is the same way a neurodivergent person would experience, is that oftentimes we feel like something is wrong with us. So whether you have the system, the nervous system of an autistic person or not, one thing that relates us is that sometimes you feel like something might be wrong with you or something is different. You can unmask too. Your version of unmasking yourself may be different from how I unmask myself, but I noticed that a lot of people just in general pretend to be something that they're not all of the time, and they're afraid to be themselves. But when you unmask, you basically restore coherence between you and the universe, and coherence restores like your creative power to be able to create the lifestyle that you want. um, put it, if you want to put it in simpler terms, maybe in a religious or spirituality type of term, God does not require you to have neurotypical expression. Like scripture teaches that all of us are created intentionally. So difference does not disqualify purpose, but faith is not like this emotional display. Faith is trust. So all you got to do is have faith. Is basically what I'm saying. And many autistic individuals express faith through like routine, devotion, and consistency rather than emotional language. And God responds to sincerity, to you being authentic, not to a performance. So when spirituality is structured instead of abstract, faith becomes accessible and empowering. So I am basically just explaining to you how I manifest having autism and how it helps, but also that you still have power as well. I may be able to understand manifestation and neuroscience and quantum mechanics and metaphysics and stuff a lot easier than you because I'm autistic, but you being neurotypical doesn't block your manifestation, just like me being autistic doesn't block my manifestation. Okay. But it is a very different experience for me. So when I'm explaining it, sometimes I feel like when I'm explaining it, some of you may not understand. It's hard to keep up with because it's not. I don't know. I just feel like I may be tripping. You know what I mean? Like I can't find a decent way to explain it, a better way to explain it. Okay. Um, I'm just now seeing this. I thought it was me. I'm the same way, and I'm a black man, 42, veteran, just divorced, and maybe bipolar. Bipolar is not neurodivergence, I don't think. Is being bipolar, let me Google that. Let me see, hold on, let me Google it. Is being bipolar, I guess it's a mental, let me see. Is being bipolar neurodivergence? I don't think that oh, okay. It says yes, bipolar is considered a form of neurodivergence. What? I didn't even know that. Bipolar is a neurological mood regulation difference, not a character issue, not a willpower issue, not a personality flaw. It's a mood, energy, sleep, motivation, thought speed differently than differently. I almost knocked over my oatmeal. Differently than a neurotypical brain. Those shifts are not emotional choices, they are brain state choices. Oh, okay. I thought all of this time, I thought bipolar was an emotional, I mean, I knew it was like a mental health something or other, but I didn't know it also had to do with the makeup of your brain, how your brain was wired. Like, I didn't know you could be born bipolar. You know what I mean? I thought like bipolar disorder came with like experiences that you ended up having in life. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was something that happens to you after you had like a specific type of experience. I didn't know you could, you could just be born bipolar. I don't even know anybody that's been born bipolar. I don't know. Anyway, so I think I've talked enough about this. Um, and I'll probably come and talk later. I appreciate you for being here. I feel your energy. I'm grateful you're here in this space. Support isn't random. Of course, it's the pulse of my community, and I show up, I pour into you. I teach, I clarify, I break things down, I storytell, I uplift, I joke, I heal, I inspire, I give value, and in return, I invite support. I am $150 behind on my room today, so I'm asking for people to donate to me, $ for Somo. Of course, it's the Christmas time, so I don't expect people to have a shit ton of money. So I asked for 50 of my supporters to donate $10. I know it's possible because community has done it before. People support when they feel included and respected and part of something meaningful. Supporters, I expect y'all to do what supporters do. Spectators watch, y'all just be watching and shit. And then trolls just troll like a motherfucker because that's what trolls do. But the flow of my channel and the flow of what I'm doing comes from my supporters, because if you guys don't help me with creating stability, I won't be able to keep trying to, build content or whatever. I want you guys to honor the exchange just like you would honor any business. Being a content creator is a business. That's just how the ecosystem thrives with a content creator. If you prefer to support me through products instead of donations, I do have books available on Amazon. And if you go to luxladywealth.com, I have financial wellness books there that you can purchase if you like to. Your purchase still fuels the mission. If you're ready to support and stay part of this movement, you can donate through my brand partner Cash App at $4Somo. I am now their brand ambassador. Let me thank you for being here. Your support carries weight. Your contribution pushes this entire vision forward. And hopefully, you will help me hit my goal for today. Hopefully, I'll get a YouTube paycheck today because I still have to pay for my room. Like I said, paying for my room would be nice today. Um, Black Macho, my YouTube channel, has evolved. I used to talk about Black unity, fatherhood, co parenting, and the strength of our families. And that foundation still lives in my work, of course, but over time, I'll shift into teaching manifestation completely, and money elevation and quantum mechanics and metaphysics, because financial wellness and lifestyle expansion was always part of the conversation anyway. This channel is now about helping you create a better reality from the inside out. And if you're a woman wanting to manifest love, marriage, or a specific partner, you can join me on my other YouTube channel, Her Quantum Life. That channel is dedicated to feminine manifestation and romantic timelines. Just remember that all of my platforms are community supported. Your contributions help keep the content flowing. So if you donate $5, when you send that $5 via Cash App, you get $5 back. So create that account with my code QKR4F1X. I set my donation goal high on purpose. Okay. Honestly, it's not even really that high. Getting 50 supporters, that should be easy. That's a piece of fucking cake. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm gonna check up on my son. And I'll talk to y'all another time. Peace out.